different. You go to hockey games to get excited. 2 goals with the goalie pulled, and the Bruins, showing hearts of lions, have tied it 3-3.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back here, episode 4 in the same seats for the Same Seats podcast. Gentlemen, how are we doing today on this Sunday evening?
Good. No Patriots today. So like Mikey said, no sweat. Got some things done that you probably don't get done on a Sunday when the Pats are playing. So all things are good. Good weekend. Good week, I should say, for the Bruins.
Yep, good housekeeping weekend. Good housekeeping Sunday. Got our Christmas tree this weekend on Saturday morning. Coincidentally, we were listening to 98.5 Sports Hub Radio hockey show. Caller, John from Canton, called in and said he was listening to the Same Seats podcast. Gave us a nice little shout out. So that was a good little thing to see.
Love it. Brick by brick, hitting some ears.
Thank you, John in Canton.
Thank you. Keep
if
it up.
If we can find him.
We know a few Johns in Canton, maybe. But regardless, decent week for the boys here. We'll kind of jump right in. A little bit to cover. But before we get going here, the new segment we've kind of been teasing out, some nice voicemails from some disgruntled Bruins fans. Or happy Bruins fans. We're not going to know. We're going to play it live here. We'll give you some live feedback, but it should be a good one. I'm excited to jump into that here after we get through some recaps. But start off, we had the Wings, Blues, the Devils. Bit of a stretch here. Seems like we're just playing every other night for the foreseeable future, which can't be easy. But the Wings game, not a great game. Not a great start, but they had a lot of... I'll give it to them. They had a lot of grit going through the end. They battled it out. They got it to within reach, and then the wheels fell off the wagon.
Yeah, it was a good first period. JVR torched Lindholm. In and out. See you later. Lindholm's good for one of those a game where you're just unsure of what's going on, but he'll follow it up with 27 good plays after that. So we throw it out the window. Not a big deal. Gino with forecheck of the year. Takes out 2 guys, leads to a goal. It's been like that in the entire year with our forecheck. It seems to be an asset, something in the tool belt that not every team has, where guys are bought in and going and getting pucks, and they're all leading to either a goal or at least a scoring chest and sustained pressure inside the O zone. So those were all good, but Steve's goal was obviously sweet. He continues to be hot, and the only problem is right after that, they let Sherratt come down Broadway. Just a defensive lapse, goal, stretches the lead, I think, back out to 3 at that point, right? Or 2. And they just kind of lost the momentum from there. And then Lindholm takes the penalty, and that leads to a power play goal. And then it felt out of reach. But to your point, Dave, they battled back, and they made it a 1-goal game somehow. They just ran out of time.
Yeah, and I kind of had this one as a scheduled loss for them, just because they had that emotional game last time they played. They're in your division. It's going to be tough to, sweep the series anytime you're playing a team like that. And Detroit's really good this year, too. But I think it was a good look for the Same Seats pod, too. Especially you, Dave, talking about Aspero, pumping his tires and just talking him up. And then he goes out and gets his first goal, too. He had a strong game, and that was kind of the first time I was really paying attention to him. And he was really impressive. He reminded me a lot of when the Bees had Mark Stewart back in the day. Like, he's just that stocky defenseman that's built like a fire hydrant. And he has wheels, too. He went back for a puck at, I think it was their most recent game, and he beat someone to the puck. I'll have to look this up when we jump into the later games. But the guy can motor, too.
Yeah, I mean, when we started pumping his tires, it was around the time of that Islanders game where he was going stride for stride with Barzal. And watching Aspero skate, he closes on guys. Jumping ahead here, but it was the Devils game. He didn't cross over. He just was kind of going laterally across the blue line, keeping Jesper Bratt in front of him, made him circle back, and instead of gaining speed, coming up through the neutral zone. And he's really good at closing on guys, and he's been playing since that Detroit game, I think just about or over 20 minutes a night. So let your horses go. And It seems you can see the confidence in his game at first. You could tell it's the first few games in the National League, just figuring out the game. But just like any guy, you give them more ice time, they're going to get more confident, and they're going to get more reps. And I mean, he has a laser of a shot, which no one really saw coming.
Yeah. I mean, they're asking a ton of him for his first X amount of games in the NHL, and jumping right up from Providence, playing 20 minutes a game, and playing with different D partners pretty consistently. He's not missing a beat, and he's playing well. He isn't hurting them, which is kind of the name of the game here, and he's definitely. It shows when he's making like simple plays in the D zone, where he's just flipping it out high off the glass and protecting the puck, making sure he's not just giving it away. A lot of patience too. So I like his game a lot, and he's rock solid. He really is.
And he's playing the offside. Callahan went down that game, so I don't know if he started playing with Zadorov that game or the past couple, but as a former D, playing the offside can be a blessing and a curse, right? Because if you're going to get forced to your backhand, if you're going to go up the wall, and they make a ton of like soft backhand plays, which is really frustrating at certain points. Yeah. But he's doing a good job of getting to the middle of the ice, distributing the puck, moving it quick. If he's got nothing, it's up high off the glass, and they're out. And we talked about this. A good defenseman for a guy like him, if you're not noticing him, he's doing his job. But if you're noticing him for his skating, closing on guys, then it's, man, this guy's working himself into the lineup, I think.
And then Mark Stewart, fun fact, also was number 45 with the Bees too. So maybe a little bit of little passing of the torch, maybe. Maybe it
was number 6.
So I think that's
number 6.
Brad Stewart, I think, was 6.
Are we checking facts?
Oh, I looked up Mark Stewart. He was definitely 45 for a time period.
He was a lug. I mean, maybe this is Mark Stewart 2.0 here, boys.
But even outside of that, of wall play, you were mentioning how we make some soft plays off the back end. I want you to watch Casey Middlestad the next game. He does not lose a battle in the D zone on the wall. He's always able to find people coming out of the zone in a timely manner. It is, I'm telling you right now, and I even saw, I'll have to send the article to the Twitter. One of the Bruins was talking about how good he is on the wall in the D zone. He might be the best on the Bruins. Something to keep an eye out for.
What do you have to say about his willingness to engage on the wall, though? Guy's notorious for a lot of flybys.
I plead the fifth. I don't know. I like his game a lot. I do. I think he adds an element where he's thinking the game and he's not just throwing the puck away, where I think we get into that a little bit. Or the guys are collecting the pass in the half wall and they're coming back into the D zone and making it more difficult for us to get out of the zone. And it's something that drives me up a wall, but he seems to stand his ground. I'm telling you, he is proficient in getting the puck out off the wall.
And you can see it too. A lot of people are, oh, he's soft. He doesn't have the jam. Haven't seen any of that. All of the complaints we've heard from people within friend groups or so that, and I don't know, maybe we hear about it, maybe we don't from some disgruntled fans. Holy hell, Dave, not sleeping. But the guy, yeah, a long night. Every night's a long night. The guy's, he's shy. I think he's 0.8 points per game or something. He's producing, and he's making it happen when he's in the line.
12 and 20. And he's coming back from injury. He's on the one of the power play units. They shuffle it around, and he had a great goal against the when I forget, I'm blanking on the third game, but he had a great goal. The Devils. He had a great goal last night. I mean, he produces, plays well. I mean, to your point, Mikey, there's definitely some lapses in his game or quick flyby, but I mean, I'll take that. I'll take for what he does good, and I'll run with it.
Yeah, that's fair. I am pretty surprised with his level of production this year. I don't know what it was looking like back in Colorado, but he's playing mainly with Zacha, and I think that's really helpful to his game, and I think he complements Zacha really well.
I think so too.
So, I mean, Zacha looks like he's hopefully starting to get going and put some points on the board. His two-way game has been excellent the past 2 or so weeks. He's been playing really well, especially D-zone, and he always comes back so hard and is so good at getting under guys' sticks and just, being hard to get the puck from him, too.
Yeah, he had that back check we're jumping all over the place tonight, but he had that back check.
Why don't we go to St. Louis? Because he had a good game in St. Louis.
Well, before we go to St. Louis, though, the Alex Steves train is just full steam ahead. This kid he's putting himself in the right situations. He's made every case known to man to keep this guy in the lineup. Like, he's doing the little things. He's in on the forecheck. He's finding guys. He's got his motor. And we can save this is part of the rant a little bit, but when Pasta comes back, what are we shuffling up here? There's some serious conversations to be had, but you kind of saw everything come together, right? And we put up 4 against the Wings, fell up short, kind of really didn't have it off the start of the game. Different start, different outcome, but they parlay that into the Blues game, the return of Monty, and they beat the piss out of the Blues. The Blues it was hard to watch them play hockey.
Yeah, they don't seem like they want to be on the ice, if that makes any sense.
And they got some guys, and they have some players, a good
it's
back
like?
end.
It's similar to watching how the Bees started with Montgomery last year. Just uninterested hockey.
Uninspired, too, I would say. They're just
Uninspired, uninterested, just floating around, going through the motions. I don't know what it is with Montgomery because everybody loves him and says he's a great coach. Players love him, but there's something weird there with him.
I always forget how good he was when he was a player at UMaine. I watched that Chicklets behind the whatever you want. I think it's the college hockey series. He was part of that national championship, and he had I think he's like well over 100 career points at UMaine. I'll have to fact check that, but he was a phenomenal hockey player. But to your point, Mikey, at some point it's not just a unique situation, something that comes with him wherever he goes, and his team follows suit. And I mean, they had the historical year with him, but I don't know. He made some weird comments too after the game about how it's not just him; it's everyone that has a hand in there. And I don't
saw
know.
that.
It's like cut the cord.
I saw that and I didn't like it.
Yeah, just
And
move
I
on.
never really had a problem with Montgomery, but I really didn't like those comments for some reason. They rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know why.
It's just the time and place. I mean, you had a historic season. Could the guys have played better? But I don't know if he put him in the best position in that first round.
No,
Some,
and when
some of the
rains,
moves, it's like, hey, buddy, hand up, right? Like,
and when it rains, it pours. Obviously, things aren't going well in St. Louis, so maybe he was just feeling some type of way. But it's so easy for him to turn around and just say, "Hey, loved my time with the Bruins, made a ton of good relationships and friendships, and we had some good success, we had some downfalls," and just move on from the question. But it felt very intentional what he was saying about his time with the Bruins in that year. But nonetheless, I mean, I heard Brick talk at the beginning of the game how historically bad the Bruins are in the first period, and it's astonishing how bad they are.
devil's advocate, though, when they get out to a lead in the first period, which they did, they're 4-0. And
Exactly.
back-to-back games, come out with a lead, good things happen.
But I'm almost every single game, I'm watching the shot counter, just making sure we get past that threshold of 3.
They get
And
peppered.
it's kind of like you wipe the sweat off your forehead. You're finally over the hump and you can start playing. But yeah, to your point, Dave, your original point about Steves, I think he's far past being taken out of the lineup. It's pretty much like where he's going to be slated. He can play top 9. I'd rather see him in top 6 with his production and the way that he's rolling. And I also don't want to break up that third line either. So it's a tough.
Yeah, you can't. That's our best line. But
Yeah.
that Blues game, we come out with the lead. There's a whole lot of jam. And then meanwhile, in the back of our mind, we've dressed our 10th D for the season.
No, it's 11th or 12th, isn't it?
I thought it was the 10th. It could be. It could be 15, 16. But
Soderstrom.
he looked like he hadn't played an NHL game in a while. And nothing against the guy, right? He looked light years better against the Devils. But when you have that much turnover on the back end, they're still doing what they're doing. You're kind of like, damn, like something's cooking. These guys are buying it.
Yeah, I thought Soderstrom, to your point, definitely. I mean, he was a first-round pick.
He's no schmuck.
Yeah, so there's obviously something that all these teams see value in him, and he's got a great shot from the point. Definitely, maybe nerves a little bit stepping in to a higher paced game, just naturally from AHL to NHL. So I throw him a bone there. I thought he played well enough to move on and continue to play games for the Bruins. If he laid a complete goose egg, I would say probably never again. I think he's a reasonable option if guys go down continuing on. So
I mean, we're very far down the depth chart right now, so you can't really do too much. And I think it was Brick on the broadcast was saying, he's one of the right shot defensemen that we don't really have, like a very full barn to choose from, of varieties. So we like the Brunet kid, but he's a lefty, and he actually just got hurt the other day too. So
yeah, and who else?
They are
Sweezy's
just-
really the other option.
yeah, they like Sweezy. They brought him up a couple games last year. He did pretty well, got into some scraps. The pride of Archbishop Williams.
Boston, no, Bridgewater Bandits back in the day.
Bridgewater Bandito.
Bandits low-key wagon. But this is something that was on my mind during that game about Colton Parayko. He makes every basically Team Canada team. He's on projected rosters. Am I watching a different guy than everyone else is watching? Not to say I'm a scout. I think we know the game pretty well, but am I missing something when I watch this guy play? I don't know if he does it.
He is one of those guys that is above 6'6" in the NHL and is super physical.
And that's it.
There's not that many of them anymore. It's weird to say. You look at Tage Thompson. I know he's a forward, but I think they're the same height. He's just not physical. Like when you get to that height now, I feel like you're just not playing a physical game, with the exception of Zadorov, the exception of Parayko. I don't even know who else there is.
You just have to be this next level skater. I mean, Zadorov, I saw that he's got the fastest straightaway whatever this year at like 23 miles per hour.
Insane.
He can absolutely cook. So if you're going to be that big, you also have to be able to move well north and south and east and west. And I mean, Zadorov, when he gets ahead of steam coming through the neutral zone, look out, cook. He is coming, and he's got some hands to him too.
Well, he had his little night at the Celtics, and man, did he put on a show. He probably could have deleted 12 and been perfectly fine. He comes out the next night, looks like Bobby Orr. He had this one shift in the ozone where I almost put in the group text, who is this guy? He needs to drink more. Like, he was buzzing, ripped it off the post. Like, he was a man possessed.
You knew he was going to have a good game, too. You knew he was going to have a good game. He's the type of guy that loves the spotlight. He was with Pasta, was pumped to slam the beer on the Jumbotron. And then somebody from the audience got a video of him drinking another beer, too. It was a different one. So if you're going to those games, too, you're having beers before. You're having beers there. You're having beers after.
Yeah.
But dude was definitely slamming them. And I tried to I couldn't find it on DraftKings, couldn't find it on FanDuel to get him on the points, the over on points. Couldn't get it. Ended up being a good bet. But he should have had 2 secondary assists.
And a goal.
And a goal. He was unbelievable out there.
Yeah, he
was.
was.
Like his hair was on fire. And he's like, yeah, I've gone to like 10 Celtics games, but they just never show me. And he goes with the big dog, and he just lives up to the hype.
Thinking about the Blues here, I have a trade proposal that I want to run you both through. And who says no? All right. Jordan Kyrou tried to ship him before the year started, never panned out. Enter the season, few games in, 10, 12, whatever it is, he gets health bombed. They obviously want to get rid of him. There's some sort of dispute between him and Montgomery, him and management, him and the team, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. But he's under contract until 2030. What if we sent Patra, Lysell, Florida first in 2027, and maybe a second-round pick in 2026 for Kyrou?
Yes.
I say no.
You say no?
I say no. I think that's way too much.
Well, hear me out here. The Blues are in sell mode. They're going to hang on to maybe 3 guys for the remainder of the year past the deadline, and that's Robert Thomas, Patrick Holloway, and Snugard.
Snuggerud. They'll probably hold on to Broberg and that kid.
Yeah,
Evers.
a couple of those other guys, but those are the main points there. They're going to get rid of Parayko. They're going to get rid of Cam Fowler, and I think they'll get rid of Jordan Kyrou. My argument with it is the Bruins are not in what they call a rebuild mode. They're in a retool mode. You get a guy he put up 80 points last year. He's been 30 goals for the last couple of years. He flies. I don't know how he is as a person, how he meshes with the locker room. But if we're not going to bring up Lysell, which they've made it abundantly clear that that's not going to happen, will come up. He'll have like 10 points in 15 games, and then he'll get sent down, and people will be pretty much in the middle, being like, yeah, I could see him there, but I could also see him in Providence. He's still young, don't get me wrong. The Florida first will end up being a later pick in the first round draft of 2027. And we can also get rid of that second round pick because they might just be looking to sell him before the deadline anyways. So I think it's a decent enough a package that if we're not going to use these guys, let's just get rid of them. Let's retool them.
I agree. If you call Lysell and Patra up, where do you put them in now? You know, the guys in the lineup have earned their spots. The second round, I don't know, maybe being stingy, we just hold on to the second round.
That's fine. That's still fine.
The first round. But to your point, I mean, he brings some jam. Kyrou, he can skate like the wind. He can finish. He's proven that. He's scored 30 in the league a handful of times. I'm in.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of ways of being able to get more offense for the Bruins. He's at 8.125 per year. For a guy that puts up 80 points, count me in.
Can they even fit him?
I mean, there's certainly room for him. There's certainly room for an 80-point guy on the Bruins.
No, can they fit him with the salary?
Well, yeah, they would have to make some other moves along with it to have some relief on it. I think they only have like $1 million in cap space right now, so they would have.
Who are we moving?
So
I mean, Corby.
Yeah, well, Corpy's got a higher one too, and then we can call up. I think it's DiPietro, have him back up Swayman. I'm totally fine with that. Corpy's done as well as he could for the start of this year, but I think it's a no-brainer for the Bruins if they can make it work financially.
I think the Marine Corps had a pretty good game the other day against the Blues. He had like 39 saves or something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think people are chomping at the bit to take on Corpy, though. I think if you're moving Corpy, you're sending additional draft capital with you or a prospect.
And you're probably retaining some salary too.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't.
Depending on
I
who he's
just don't-
going, if Edmonton wants him bad enough, they'll pay. They'll definitely pay. And
You just
and
hate to see,
think
you just hate to
Edmonton
see a
would pay that,
situation
though.
like Bussy happen, where
Oh my God.
DiPietro goes to whoever and comes out like a man possessed.
8
and
wins,
stops
and
every
9
puck imaginable and just wins a ton of games. We've just let that guy walk.
Eight
Think about that.
Carolina.
8
Carolina
wins,
literally-
9 games.
Yes. Carolina Hurricanes just tweeted this morning Brandon Bussey is the 8th goaltender in NHL history to earn 8 wins through his first 9 appearances.
Oops, should have held on to that guy.
And Carolina is probably my least favorite team in the NHL. I don't really know why. I think it's probably
I don't like
goes
them
all the way,
either.
but goes back to maybe like the Scott Walker days.
Oh.
But for them to struggle having a goalie for the last X amount of years and living and dying by Frederick Anderson, and then we just give them a complete gift in Brandon Bussey, it hurts.
And he's doing that with a D-zone coverage. That's just kind of a nightmare, where guys are playing man-on-man, and if you get beat, your goalie's toast. He's high and dry. And he's doing it there, and that could have been us. But
The other thing, too, that I want to mention that Rick said on the broadcast in the Blues game, Bruins have the most blocked shots as a team.
Love that.
great stat.
That's an unbelievable stat.
Love that.
Between that and the forecheck and them finishing every hit no matter what, you're going into a game and you're like, God, we're going to get hit all over the game. We're not going to get shots through. They're going to be hounds on us the entire night. They're tough to play. It
piss
has
and
to be
vinegar.
it has to be the sentiment from the league or the teams that they're playing that they're tough to play against.
Do you
I
guys
think-
remember when I think Tortorella was coaching the Rangers and he was preaching kind of the same thing? We're going to be a tough team to play against, block shots and everything. And all the Rangers guys would have the extra padding on their gloves. They'd have the extra padding on their skates. I think we need some of that. Just layer up with the foam on every piece of equipment. Just
Shot
start
blockers
diving
on the
out in front of
skates.
shots. Yes. I think we need some of that.
I'd be curious to see how many of those block shots are on the PK, granted, because we half the game in the box. It'd be interesting to see what the breakdown of 5-on-5 block shots is versus block shots on the PK. And Andrew Peak has to be at the top, if not the leader in block shots. That guy eats pucks for breakfast.
He does. He's a complete animal. He doesn't take a shift off. He's fun to watch.
No. Unsung hero to this point. We good on the Blues, though, before we kind of parlay this into the Devils here? That match, because that was a good match. The Devils, another uninspired hockey team from my perspective. There just wasn't, they just didn't have it that night. I know they played Vegas the night before, and that's a grind, bunch of big boys, so they're probably a little beat up, but I mean, the Bees even had a slow start too, but the Devils are just, I think they're tough to watch without Jack. And he's kind of the engine that gets them going. They had a stat of Jack in versus Jack out. And man, are they a wildly different team.
Yeah, the thing is that they still have all-star players everywhere. Timo Meyer, Heischer, Luke Hughes, Palat, like they have all these guys that can play. So Jack Hughes shouldn't affect their game all that much. But to your point, Dave, I definitely thought it was uninspired hockey. It was fun to watch from a Bruins fan perspective, but from a Devils fan, you're questioning what do we do about this? Because once Jack Hughes comes back, are you just waiting for another injury to happen and then the demise happens again? I don't know. So that's got to stink for Devils fans.
When you see a goal happen like the Middlestat one, where it was just tic-tac-toe, you could see it evolving right as they came over the blue line. Your team is just getting embarrassed. That happened to the Bees a couple times last year, and you're just thinking, fuck, this team. So that was fun to watch. The team is fun to watch now. They really are.
I agree. For those people saying they're boring, they're just not tuning in. This is a Bruins podcast primarily, but we got a good pulse on what's going on in the league and who's who. This team, they forecheck hard, they get open, they hit you, they'll beat you up, they'll take a ton of penalties in the process. But they're at the top of the league in the PK. the PP, and they can put the puck in the back of the net, which we thought would be a massive issue going into this year. But by the grace of God, Morgan Geekie just can't stop scoring.
He's unconscious.
He can't stop.
It's insane. But I mean, even with his goal, Slick goes in the corner, takes body, guy kind of slips off him, puck jumps up in the air, and I think the D-man probably thought Kaslik was out of the play. Comes back, picks his pocket, finds. I think it was that. Am I thinking of the same right goal here? Yeah.
You're thinking of when he was wide open in the slot. And I was like,
Yeah,
maybe we want to cover him.
Yeah, exactly. It's just again, the forecheck is just relentless. It's between Kaslik and Janot and Minton and Arvidsson, like these guys. I mean, the forechecking crew, the FCC. It's a literal thing. I can't get over.
Shit.
It's like a coach's wet dream of having these guys on your team that can just go and get the puck and take body, and it leads to, like I said in the beginning, it leads to scoring chances or it leads to goals.
And then when you have guys who can bury in the slot, it helps. I think Big Head Hockey, pretty good follow.
Good follow.
He said doing a video on Morgan Geekie right now, it's actually pretty ridiculous how much Boston keeps him in the slot. He never goes below the goal line on the shift, parked in that F3 spot. This was the game against the Red Wings. Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Coach to your strengths. Maybe you don't want, he's not going to go like a bat out of hell in forecheck. Send the dogs in and just give him the pill in the slot and let him fire it.
But the thing with him, too, he's really good on the forecheck as well, though.
I know.
He can get in there and just hammer guys. It's the big Manitoba boy, that's why.
The Western Canada boys. A little bit of farm boy
Carhartt
strength,
jacket.
really.
That's it.
Heaviest team in the league, average of 207 pounds.
Meat.
Complete units.
Piss, vinegar, and meat. By the way, cool story.
Go ahead.
Did you guys see? So when he signed his big contract this summer, he ordered custom baseball gloves for the entire team, customized with their number, their last name, and either their home country's flag colors or college team colors or junior team colors. It was pretty sick. It's a cool story.
Yeah, it was actually what I was just going to say. I thought that was maybe the coolest gift.
Didn't mean to cut you off, BK.
No. I actually didn't know those little tidbits of what was on the actual gloves. I just knew the story as a whole. But there's nothing, and I think it was Fraser Minton was talking about how the guys just grab a catch in between meetings, before games. Like, there's nothing better than grabbing a catch with your buddy. And it's such a unique gift, too. I guess he was a big baseball player, a catcher back in his day, so I loved it.
They
There's
said he
nothing
played for
like getting
Team
in the mix.
Canada for baseball.
What's that?
They said he was playing for Team Canada for baseball as a U18 or U19 person or whatever, and he missed his first junior camp tryout because he was trying to get, I don't know if it was scholarship or trying to get drafted into the MLB. And then he went on to say, yeah, I didn't get any offers, so went to hockey, and I guess it worked out, which is just insane.
As you being that good at two sports.
Not even that good at one.
But I overall, the Devils game I thought was fun hockey to watch. To your point, Mikey, the Middlestad goal was pretty to watch. Tic-tac-toe. You could see the embarrassment by the Devils after that went in. Their Ds just threw their hands in the air. So that felt good. And it was a good way to cap off a pretty tough stint of games in a row. I'll have to look at it after, but the difficulty of schedule for the Bruins has been probably top 5 in the league, if I had to guess. Not to mention they've played 30 games. There's teams in the Eastern Conference that have only played 26. So the pair up with a hard schedule and just volume of games, the fact that they're sitting here at 17 and 13 is insane.
They're doing it with the injuries. The BMCBs just figure it out. And coming back from Spalding rehabilitation, Elias Lindholm, not talked about enough. He's dishing it. He's making guys around him better. He's putting them in good situations. He's finding them. And when you have a guy who's shooting it like Geekie, and right now Lindholm's just feeding them, just let him cook. I think he had like 8 points in 6 games or something. And they were all assists. But hey, you know what? He's getting on the score sheet. He's making it happen. He's making an impact. And this is the Elias Lindholm we need on this team.
Yeah, he's a first-line center for us. He should be for the foreseeable future. His face-off percentage is high. That's why they have him on all the important draws. So that's what you need. He's got 17 points in 20 games. He's right around a point per game. And he's starting to find his groove a little bit, which is nice. And the whole team feeds off of it too. Like you could see even after that Geeky goal, they come into the offensive zone a couple of times. They're running the 3-man weave in there where they're just cycling it, coming back up. They find the guy in the soft area. He gets a shot on net. It's a great scoring chance. Everything was working well, but it starts from the front. You need your Lindholms, you need your Geekies to produce so the other team can follow suit. And some nights it's going to be the third line that leads the charge, but it's nice to see the guys from the front lead it for them.
I agree. Mike, anything else on the past few games here before we transition into a little voicemail action?
Just one last thing on Zadorov. In the post-game scrum, he had the 1990s win breezer, and it just looked awesome.
Yeah, he's the complete
He's the man. He's the man. Saying how he needs to play guilty, I thought it was hilarious.
Give him the C?
Give him the C. Smash mouth. He's like a wrestler. He's like a wrestler from the 90s.
I can't get on the C bandwagon.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay, all right. As long as we're on the same page. I'm fine with him with an A, but
give him the A. I think he's earned it.
Yeah,
he's earned it.
I completely agree. But you can't have 4 A's, especially when McAvoy and Pastrnak comes back, and then you have Lindholm with it too. Throw it past to the C and keep this train moving.
Yeah, so like we discussed on our last pod, we were going to start rolling out a new segment called Calls from an Angry Bruins Fan. And we sent the hotline out, and we actually received our first call here. So let's take a listen here, and then we can dissect it after.
Horrible. They can't get any offense going without David Pastrnak. They have 2 or 3 guys that should be on NHL rosters, and they can't even play the same games together. They've played 3 games together the whole goddamn year. They're not a playoff team. They were never a playoff team. They've had 4 games in hand on everyone the whole year. That's why it only looked like they were a playoff team for a couple weeks at the top of the Atlantic Conference. They're going to go on a horrible losing streak. All their bottom 9 guys shouldn't even be NHLers. They have 14 bottom 9 forwards. The prospect pool is okay. Fraser Mitten isn't the future of the program. The baby B's have a bunch of guys that make plays and are going to be third liners, but the future is bad, the present is bad, and they need to make a big-time trade or it's going to be 10 years of misery. Who cares if you make the playoffs? You really want the 16th pick to get blown out in the first round and then you have the 16th draft pick? Fuck no. No, tank for McKenna. Tank for the young stud defenseman from Canada. It's going to be brutal end of the year. This team's horrible.
All right, so there was a lot to unpack there from that angry Bruins fan. BCam, what do you think?
Well, I mean, his big trade piece that he was talking about, it kind of falls in line with my Kyrou take, so I'm with him on that. I can see why he's saying the pipeline pool is okay. I'm kind of there too. I think a lot of people are putting a lot of stock in Dino and Hagens, and Zellers is another category. I'm all in. I'm all in on that. So we can leave that for another time. But to say that the bottom 6 aren't even NHL players doesn't even make sense. And
Sean Corelli has 800 games.
It sounds like a very disgruntled Bruins fan. I don't really necessarily know why, because everything that's happening right now is gravy. We came into the season thinking, kind of knowing that they weren't going to be great and they weren't going to even be near the playoffs. All the projections had them bottom 2, bottom 3 in the league, and they're 4 games above 500 right now, and we're nearing Christmas. And that there's like a stat out there that if your team's in a playoff spot after Thanksgiving, there's a high likelihood of them making the playoffs. So they fall into that statistic, whether people want to believe it or not.
Yeah, and that angry Bruins fan did say they are not a playoff team and they will not be a playoff team. They are currently tied for first in the Atlantic Division. So that angry Bruins fan, maybe he's a frequent listener. He doesn't check facts. Could be that.
We also don't check facts, but he really doesn't check facts. One might even question, is he watching the games? He's got a decent point, though, about we do all this, and this is a pretty good draft class. The Bearhoff kid, really, really good. Total stud at Nodak. McKenna, obviously. Do we just bearlieve so hard we go all in, and then we get bounced in the first round? We have like the 16th.
No.
Don does what Don does in the draft, or he has a bounce back draft. But I could see that argument, but I think our prospect pool's better than we think it is. Like, definitely, and better than that disgruntled fan thinks it is. And the baby bees, they are cooking along. They are the baby bees. But the guys we're calling up they're contributing. And they're contributing in big ways, and we're finally putting those guys in the right spots. So I could see some of said fans' arguments. I think he needs to watch a few more of the games before we play that phone number.
Yeah, and anyone can call in. Leave your voicemails, positive, negative, whatever it is. We want to hear it.
Yeah, but you got to make sure you text the hotline first saying you're calling into the hotline so that the hotline can patch you into the correct hotline.
Correct. Thank you for that.
Okay. Yes, yeah.
Good. Any other thoughts on our first piece here before we go into some rants and some final bear leaves of the week?
No. I listen. I like when people have their own opinion on the Bruins and can't all be working in unison here. So I like a little pushback.
Hey, and we're not experts. Call in. Call us out. We want to hear your opinion. We want you to give us a call. Talking about you, listener. All right, rants of the week here. I really don't have much this week, to be honest. Talked about maybe more observations than rants, and we talked about a little bit. Aspro and Steve's really coming into their own. That's just my two big takeaways from the last 3 games. Get more ice time, get more responsibility, and you can just see it in their play. And it's cool to see. And they're finally plugging in these guys in the right situations, and they're doing well. And it's going to be interesting when Pasta comes back to see what the lines look like.
Yeah, mine's a little bit off, not on the same topic as that, but my rant is more about Jeff Gordon. And I've already teased it with you both, but just bear with me here. It's going to be short and brief. Jeff Gordon is the GM of the Bruins, and Mike O'Connor was fired in March of 2020. Why did I put March of 06? Jeff jumped into the interim position in March of 06, right after O'Connor was fired. And he was later gone 4 months later. In the 4 months, he was the Bruins GM. He traded Andrew Raycroft for the rights of Tuukka Rask. He drafted Marchand, Phil the Thrill Kessel, and Lucic. He signed Zdeno Chara, and he signed Mark Savard. I'll hang up and listen.
I don't even think there's a response. Just drop the mic and we can sign off on that note.
The only thing that was missing was drafting Bergeron. That
Really?
he didn't do. I'm not saying that he did that. I'm saying if he did that, I mean
Perfection.
solidified. Yeah, it's perfection at that point.
Yeah, but it's dumbfounding how they were just. He went back to being the assistant GM, so he wasn't like he was out of the program. But then they hired Chiarelli as the head honcho, which the Chiarelli campaign was totally fine. They won a cup under Chiarelli, and he did a bunch of good things when he was the GM. But it's more so you have a guy that steps in and does all these moves. I mean, obviously you couldn't see Marchand and Tuukka and Lucic and Phil Kessel becoming what they were, but looking back on it, it's almost the same sting of the 2015 draft where you're like, you had this guy in there that was making moves that set up the future of the Bruins, and then he's not with us anymore. So
I mean,
that's the end of my rant.
franchise.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things that you're questioning the entire time, but it is what it is.
Is he with Montreal?
He is.
Certainly.
He's still there?
Yeah,
Yeah. Mea culpa for letting him get away.
big time.
But my rant this week, just that the Panthers had a goal that was allowed that went off Marchand's glove. And Ty Anderson tweeted out that it might be painful for Bruins fans to see this as a goal. And it was the video of DeBrusque hand passing it to Bergeron, who gives up to Carlo, who scores in Game 6 against Florida in the 23 playoffs. And I was actually having heart palpitations watching that. I had to give myself a pep talk, like, hey, we gotta settle down. This already happened. There's no changing. So I didn't like seeing that. It was opening Pandora's box of just pain and suffering.
And of all the people for it to happen, too, in the
I know.
Florida game.
It's uncanny.
Full circle
Marshy was
moment.
on the ice, too, for that. He was net front screening Bobrovsky when Carlo scored, but just kind of weird, sinister stuff.
Yeah, the 23 playoff where the gods were against the Bruins.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and we'll talk about that when we do Donnie deadlines on our next episode about pushing all the chips in the middle. And I mean, he emptied the bags there, and the hockey gods did not want
Good teaser.
the Bruins doing it.
Contrary to belief, too, a lot of people love to poke fun at Donnie during the deadlines, but history shows that he's always been selling and buying.
He's not afraid to make a wiggle and do something.
No, good or bad.
Yeah, we'll dive into that. We'll start picking them apart. There's some funny ones. There's some sad ones. There's some good ones. But yeah, we'll tease that out for next week and bring some talking points. Boys, we'll wrap up here. Are we bear leaving? And where are we on the meter? 1-37. I see a smirk. Uncle Brian, the floor is yours.
Uncle Brian.
Still right around that 25 to 27 range. Call it Lindholm. I love the team, and I've said this from the beginning. I think their style of play, and hopefully there's no ceiling for them, and they keep moving north. But they're playing a cool brand of hockey that I don't think most Bruins have seen in quite some time. Where finishing every check, hard forecheck, good PK, good PP. Guys seem to be bought in and working as a team, which I think is something that not every team can say that they have. So I love the Bruins. I do.
Where are you on the...
I'm high. I'm high on the meter. I'm around the 30s. I love the Zadorov thing. Really pulled me in to a level that I don't think I was at this year. I just love the attitude of it, of just drinking beers the night before the game. I think it's funny. It's fun. Get everyone on the team just getting banged up and just playing loose, not gripping the stick too tight, having fun with it. Like, you're an NHL player, you're making a ton of dough. Go out and have some fun. You're playing a kid's game. I think it's great. I love the attitude of the team.
Great Joe Burrow reference. That was a great interview before that game. It was like, we're playing a kid's game.
Yeah.
Obviously, legend. It is true. They just get paid beaucoup money. My rating has gone up. I'm going to go Jerry Cheevers, 31.
Happy birthday.
I know. Happy birthday.
Happy B-Day. I am bear leaving. We're doing it without our two best players. Swayman is, again, a little bit of a teaser. First guy in the pipes for Team USA for the Olympics. He's buzzing. McAvoy's out. Best guy in the back end. Best forward's out, and we're still doing it. And we're putting up some goals in the process. The role guys are showing up. We're getting contributions throughout the lineup. It's pretty compelling. And then they're just going to break my heart at some point this season. But
enjoy the ride.
I know.
Enjoy the ride.
I also want to say too, I don't think we gave Swayman his flowers this episode. Just a huge shout out to Swayman. He's got to be in the top 3, top 5 of Vezina votes as of right now. And he's keeping them in a lot of games. His shots are always outnumbered pretty heavily. So he's keeping them in a lot of games, and he's living up to his contract and more. So shout out Swayman.
Agreed. I talk a lot of shit. I haven't had much to say. He's been really good lately.
Good. Right on. Well, boys, that's a wrap here. Anything else before we sign off?
No. What do we got coming up here for schedule? I know they play Tuesday night.
We're going through the gauntlet a little bit. We have the Blues, Jets, and then Wild.
Yeah, 8 p.m. games, which obviously hurt the East Coast folks. So those kind of stink, but it's better than the West Coast. There is a West Coast coming up, just so you're well aware. I think it's at the end of December. We're right back out west. And I had a buddy that
we're actually home.
West trip.
Yeah, no. They're going out to Edmonton. And my buddy made a good point. They play so much in the West. What are we seeing here? Versus
the Oilers. Versus the
Okay, so it's end of December. I'll look it up here. But my buddy made a good point. They're playing so much out west that they should be considered for the West playoffs. And I don't disagree.
I don't know. The East is wide open. Just keep us in the East for now. We'll just keep chipping away.
Yeah, let me see here. Yep, so they go
right at the end of the month.
Yeah, they go right to Calgary, then to Edmonton, and then they finish off in Vancouver. And Christmas right out west.
Didn't scroll far enough down. Hand up.
January 6th, they play the Kraken out in Seattle, so they're out there for a long time.
Oh my God, you're right.
And then they come back and play the Flames on January 8th at home.
Yeah, they're going to be torched.
We might have to crazy trip.
We're going to have to pencil them in for an L on January. What is that, January 8th? January 8th is an auto L.
Well, boys, catch us next week here. Do the same thing. Catch us on Twitter. Catch us on Instagram. There's been little birdies chirping about TikTok. None of us really know how to TikTok, so if anyone wants to step up, call the hotline, text the hotline.
Let's hire an intern. We'll hire an intern.
Yeah.
Unpaid
for
internships.
TikTok.
And a stat guy. Someone that can...
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, we don't need that.
We're not checking those. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next week.
See you, boys.
Peace.
Later.